And the whole world is digesting this memo of that conversation between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky. As we heard Trump there saying once again, he did nothing wrong.
Yes, exactly. He says that he did nothing wrong and that this memo actually proves he did nothing wrong. And the Democrats are saying that this memo actually proves that he did indeed do something wrong. It does prove what we've been hearing so far from sources and from certain people, even the president himself. It does prove that Donald Trump did indeed ask a foreign leader, Vladimir Zelensky, to look into a potential 2020 rival, Joe Biden. There are two moments in that phone call where Joe Biden's name was mentioned by the U.S. president. Once he's asking Zelensky, whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. And the second time he asks whether he can look into it, and Zelensky actually replying to the U.S. president that he will be appointing a new prosecutor who will, quote, look into the situation. So it does prove that there was indeed a request by the U.S. president. What Donald Trump and the Republicans are focusing on is the absence of proof of a quid pro quo. Nowhere in that transcript does it say that the U.S. president actually said that he would withhold that military aid that was destined to Ukraine if the Ukrainians didn't go along with that request to investigate Joe Biden. And that's really what the strategy of the Republicans is that they are saying there's no quid pro quo and therefore there is no issue.
Yes, because central to all of this is that almost $400 million in aid. Now, Trump has confirmed, he's admitted that, yes, he sat on that money, even though Congress had cleared it to go to the Ukraine. But he says that is nothing to do with the investigation of Joe Biden. And he actually talks about that in this. He says that we do a lot for Ukraine. The Europeans, they don't do so much. That is his justification for sitting on it. He said he wanted to wait for the Europeans to step up. So that is the defense they're using right now.
Well, actually, Donald Trump's justification has changed over the past few days. At first, when he was asked whether there was a withholding of that money, he first denied it. Then he said that he did indeed withhold the money, and he replied to the reporter asking him that question. He said, would you want to give money to a country that you think is corrupt? And then the day after that, he turned to that justification that you mentioned. He blamed it on the Europeans, saying that the reason he withheld that money was to show that the Europeans are not doing enough for Ukraine, and that he was tired of the U.S. always having to put up the money and never being able to count on the Europeans to do their part. So even his justification has really varied over the past few days. But right now, yes, he is saying that he did withhold the money, but it had nothing to do with that investigation of Biden, but more to do with the U.S. Not wanting to be the only one to help Ukraine.
Kethevane, for now, thank you very much indeed.